If you run an auto and you're maxed out on print heads, this quick tip could speed you up and save you a lot of headaches. So we're in a situation right now where my 10 color press is maxed out. We're running an insane 8 color sim process print, and as well as running a Stampinator and a flash in the other 2 stations. To get this print looking the way that I wanted it to, required 2 rotations around the press with 2 flashes. But on the second rotation, we don't have the luxury of a cooldown station between the flash and the final color. This is just the way that the color order on the press worked out. This was the best way to go about it. And obviously not having a cooldown station there could create a problem. If you haven't experienced this before, what can happen, especially on large size prints like this, is that when you flash that ink, obviously it gets hot. And when you print directly after it, that ink could end up sticking to the screen and lifting the shirt right off the palette, or worse, ripping the ink right off the shirt, and obviously that is a big problem. That's why we use cooldowns between the flash and the following print. But in this case, my press is not big enough to afford us a cooldown, and I don't want to do an extra rotation to print this shirt, so we have to find a solution to that. What would seem to be the most obvious solution to this would be to go to the control panel and set a delay time between indexes. So setting the press to pause between each shirt for like 5 or 6 seconds. But in the case of my press and many others, that is a global setting, which means that 5 or 6 second delay affects every rotation in a multi-rotation print. And we don't want to do it on that first rotation because it doesn't need it. If we're waiting an extra 5 or 6 seconds between every shirt on that first rotation, that is over a minute of wasted time. And on a big job, that could end up being half an hour, or more of just standing around doing nothing. It's not very efficient. So to get around that, what I like to do is to go to the print head that triggers just before that final flash, and I turn the flood bar speed pretty much all the way down. This will buy us enough time for the flash to do its job and for the shirt to cool down underneath it for a little bit before it hits that final color. And this will only affect the second rotation of the print. It won't affect the first, so we won't be wasting any time that we don't need to waste. You could also play around with squeegee speed, but this could affect your print depending on what you're working on, so it's a little bit more risky, whereas the flood bar affects pretty much nothing but the ink in the screen, so I like to stick to that one. Hopefully this Flash Friday tip helps you out. Drop a thumbs up on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, we'll see you again in the next one. And when you print directly after it, oh, you mother f***ing is that with a lot, shit, I had it. What I like to do is to go to the final, queen indexes. So setting the press, fuck's sakes. Stupid touchscreen never works when I want it to.